So I am today going to show you how I use Trello to actually do my meal prepping and my meal planning. Now, the way I do my board might be slightly different to how you want to do it, but it's something that I found really helpful on staying on top of what I'm prepping when, but also it's given me so much more sort of excitement and confidence in my cooking. I love cooking, and I think we all live such busy lives that cooking becomes one of those things. It's like it's a pain, it's a chore. And the biggest thing for me was actually not actually doing the cooking itself. It was deciding, oh, what am I going to cook tonight? What am I going to cook tomorrow night? And just the sort of whole thought process around actually putting something on the table that's healthy and that's just a bit different. So I'm going to show you what I do. I've also found a public board, which is a template that you could use and tweak for yourself if you want to. I have a whole series on Trello. So if you're new to Trello and don't quite understand it yet, what I suggest is watch the series. I will link to that in this video. And get a grasp of Trello, because I use it for my entire business, my social media, my business ideas, my daily to-dos, my monthly, my weekly, my quarterly goals. Trello is something that I use several times a day, every single day, and it is a really easy platform. It's free, it's really versatile. You're allowed up to 10 boards on a free account, so it's like the limits are endless. So I'm going to show you specifically how I use my board for my meal prep and planning. Let me share my screen, and then you will get a good idea of what I'm talking about. So this is my recipes board. Now, what I tend to do, I cook for the whole family on a Monday, Wednesday, and a Saturday. So those are like my big meals where I like to try and do something different, but also healthy. Depending on whether you're following a nutritional approach specifically, you'd need to tweak it for this. But I think if I share with you what I do, it'll give you a good idea how to set your own board up, and then you can essentially create the board designed specifically for your needs. So I have a recipes idea here. This is where I literally dump everything. This is my list of various cards that I've got. So whenever I come across a new recipe in a magazine or something, I go and download it off the internet. I follow a few people on Instagram. They have great recipes, so I add those in here. Otto Lengi is a big favorite of mine, and whenever I come across one of his recipes, so this is like my motherboard of ideas. I'm not going to show you actually how to construct a Trello board in this video, because I have got another video to show you to do that. It's called my Trello Basics. I'll link to that here. But once you've done that and you've understood how to create a board, this is how you'll go. You could use this approach to look at to give you really good ideas how to meal plan and prep. So like I say, I've got all my recipes here, and I'm adding to it constantly. I mean, this morning I needed to have some za'atar spice mix. I didn't know what was in it, so I found one on the internet and I put it in here. So for instance, if I go into this za'atar recipe, what I do, I've got my labels here. So you can create labels for anything. All you need to do is you can create a new label if you want to. So I could, because I've got a specific one for spices. So although I sort of cover it under my dressings and sauces, but I could make one for spices. I choose the color that I want it to be, and then I press create, but I don't actually want to do that. But you'll see with labels, I've got all of these here. And so if it was a fish recipe as well, I could add fish. I don't want fish on there, so I'm going to uncheck that. I've done this in a previous video, but you can enable colorblind friendly mode as well. So for instance, if you are colorblind, or somebody that you share this board with is colorblind, click that, and each of these colors has a pattern associated with it. I'm just going to disable that for the moment. So what I do is I put the link to the recipe here so I can grab it quickly, and then I tend to copy and paste the instructions and also the ingredients. A quick way to do it actually would be to copy this, Control C or Command C on a Mac, and then put it in the description. So then that's Command V or Control V, and then it's always there, because what I tend to do is and it keeps it nice and tidy as well, what I tend to do is I make notes on things as I go along. So it might be that I have to scroll down to get the recipe. It's much quicker and easier if you just put the ingredients and also the method up in the description here. And now, for instance, so before I go any further, this is like your mother list. So this is where you dump all your recipes, you label them, you don't really make any, you don't add. So like chamula salmon is something that I often have with, like I did aubergine with miso and Chinese cabbage the other day, and I had the chamula salmon with it. Keep each separate recipe here in your recipe ideas list. And, you know, if, for instance, you want to look for a vegetarian meal and you've got like friends coming over, you want to make a nice vegetarian meal, what you can do is go to show menu and go to search cards, and you would go to show all labels, go veggie. And then this literally will come out, pick out all of the recipes that are vegetarian. So it's just a really quick and easy way of sorting through as well. So it's not like you've got to keep scrolling up and down this list to find the recipe that you're after. So I'm just going to go out of those results at the moment. So for instance, I did yesterday, what day is it today? I did the cauliflower steaks with za'atar and buttered monkfish and green salad. So if I click in that, oh, actually first, yeah, what I want to sort of show you how I copied the card from this list into here rather than having to type the whole thing out. I'll just show you how I did that. So one of my recipes was the herby buttered monkfish. So for instance, I'm going to add a new, I'm going to copy this across. So I want it to be on my Monday list. And I'm going to go to copy, not move, because it will actually move it out of this recipes ideas list, unless you actually want to move it out of there. So you go to copy, herby buttered monkfish, keep the labels, keep the comments. It's this board called recipes, and the list that I want it in, I click there. Sorry, I can't get I don't want that list. I click for Monday, create card, and now that shows up at the bottom here. But if I also wanted to add the cauliflower steaks with it, what I do is I could either do a search for cauliflower steaks. So I can go into show menu and I can go just do the search term cauliflower, and then it'll pick up. So cauliflower steaks. So I'm just going to click on that, and I'll show you why I'm clicking on that now. Okay, come out of that. Come out of that search. It just makes it super quick to attach something. So now go back into this herby buttered monkfish. I want to attach cauliflower steaks to this as well, because when I come to make this, I don't want to be looking through my recipes trying to find it. So I want everything that I'm going to include in this meal on this card. So now I'm going to click attachment, and I'm going to go to Trello. And I've just clicked on that card, cauliflower steaks. That's why I did a search for that. And so I'm going to add that as an attachment. So you literally click on it and add that as an attachment. If I wanted to add something else, so for instance, I don't know, say if I want to do shish kebabs with it too, just click on my shish kebabs, come out of there, go back into here, and then attachment, Trello, shish kebabs. And I can remove these or add them, okay? So that's a really quick and easy way. And what I would do is also I would adjust the title here. So plus, sorry, my dog's barking. Oh. I think that's how I spell it. Shish kebabs. So so at least when I look in my recipes here, I can see it clearly that it's on Monday. But which Monday am I going to use it on? So now I'm going to click up back into the recipe, and I'm going to set a date for Monday the 19th. I'm going to click, I don't bother about the time. It's set a due date reminder one day before, and I'm going to click save. So now you'll see that July the 19th is there. So what I do when I've actually done the recipe, and I normally add a delicious label if it works out really, really well. What I then do, just to keep it tidy, and this is how my brain works best, you might want to categorize your recipes under omnivorous, depending on what labels you're using. You may want to do a list like this. For me, it just works in my brain. So what I could do is click this one, because this is past its due date. I can click that it's done. And then I drag that to Monday done. And that's that done. What I could do also is I set up an automation so that when I click this, it automatically checks it off. So it will automatically click that as done. So instead of me having to click it and drag it, it just makes it quicker. So I can go into here, go Monday done, and that will now click and drag that across to Monday done. So you'll see that's gone out of here and it's gone to the bottom of my Monday done list. Okay. I won't go into automations here, but I'm putting a video together on automations to show you how to make it, you can create rules which make it super easy. Again, that one I've done. So I'm going to click the automation to go to Monday done. And then I need to get rid of that because I'm actually not going to cook that one again for a little while. So if I want to get rid of that, I just click, what I do, I click the edit, archive, and then that's got rid of that card. So that's how I decide, and I look at this on a weekly basis. So when you have a free account, you're allowed one power up. So I use the calendar power up because it just, if I can look at my calendar, it makes it really simple for me to see what I'm cooking on which days. And if, for instance, I've got that for the 14th of July and I don't know, we're going out for dinner or something, I can just easily click that to the 21st and it will move it. And then when I go out of the calendar power up, that will have been automatically, you can see the date has changed from the 14th to the 21st. Okay. I could go back into here, I can just click it and I can change the date here, or I could go back to that calendar power up and change and put it back on the right date. And you'll see now that's gone to July the 14th. You'll see also that it's yellow because that means it's due soon. Obviously that's tomorrow as far as the dates that I'm using at the moment. So that would mean that it's gone amber because it's coming up very, very soon. To use the calendar power up, all you do is you go to the show menu, and I want to come out of the search. Sorry, go that way. go to power ups. You click that will take you into the power ups, and then type calendar there, and then it'll show up the calendar, and then you can add that to your board as a calendar power up. You're only allowed one per free account, but I just think the calendar is the easiest. I mean, have a look through these. There might be something else that suits you better, but for me, the calendar, I use it on all my boards. I find it really, really helpful. Now, you can also, if you want to, add images to these. So for instance, if you like to see the picture of the meal that you're going to make, you can actually do that. Now I've got some here. I know you can press copy image and then Control V when you come into your Trello board, and that will copy it to here. And then if I wanted to, I can make it a cover. So I just click that and that will show up there. So that means now I've got the image of it there. I find the images too distracting, so I want to remove the cover, but the image is still there. So sometimes I do add the images, sometimes I don't. So this is, so you could set up a card, a list rather, for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then what I decide what recipe I want to create for each evening meal. And then I sit down, write my grocery list, put it together, and then I know that I just go shopping once a week and I buy everything that I need for the week ahead. And it makes it really, really easy. And then, when I want to look back for other recipes, to be quite honest, I don't really need to keep these here because they're already in my mother recipe idea. So at some point I might actually delete these, but it's quite handy, for the last 2 or 3 weeks, I can think, oh, did I do that roast tarragon chicken and mushroom risotto recently? And I can just see that, yes, I did it on the 5th. So I won't do that for a few weeks ahead because sometimes I just forget. So that makes planning that really, really easy. You could also you could actually set up like a checklist of things you wanted to do. So if you wanted, I'll show you how to make a checklist. So or meal planning checklist, really, you'd probably call it. But what I could do here is checklist. So meal planning checklist. And you'd say, so choose recipes, write down grocery list, shop food, and then, you know, decide which meals on which date, label recipes accordingly. Yeah, something like that. And then you could, and then you can click these off. So, you know, you could have that, you could keep it on the Monday, you could have one for each day of these, you could copy this, you could make it as a template. So essentially, if I make this as a template now, it says here, this card is a template. And so what I would do, I'd go into that, and it's a template card. So I could create a card from that template. So I could click that, and it's like, I don't know, Tuesday's checklist, create card. So that's Tuesday's checklist. If I go into it, it's got that checklist that I've just made, and then I can check the things off and I can uncheck them if you know, accordingly, if I want to. So I can either then copy that as a checklist for Wednesday, or I can just go back into this, the template, and copy it again, or yeah, I can copy that, make a new checklist, or create a card from the checklist, from the template, and use that each day. So, you know, just to sort of show, that wasn't the best example, but it's just to show you that there are so many different tools and things that you can do with Trello. It's a really, really versatile system. I also just want to show you, this is a public planning board that I found. You can get these as templates. And so this is what somebody else has made. You would copy this from here. So you would go up here, it says create board from template. I've never used a public template, but you could create board from the template here, and then you would essentially have this board as your own, and then you can delete these if you wanted to, or change them, and you can drag it around. You see, they've done it, so they've got it listed as vegetables, legumes, pasta, seafood, meat, salads. Let's see what else they've got in here, desserts, and then they've got grocery lists, got a favorite recipe, add it there. That's a bit like my recipe ideas list, and that's what, you know, they would suggest on this. And then you can whiz down here and have a look at some of their recipes, and actually there's some really nice looking recipes there. So you can, but it's just a matter of using something that you know you can use on a daily basis or whenever you need it, to make your life easier. For me, for planning, I just find it so incredibly easy. So I hope that's been helpful for you. If you've got any questions or anything you want to, you know, you're not entirely sure about, I appreciate that when I'm sort of whizzing through this, sometimes, yeah, I know what I'm talking about, but the way I'm describing it might not be absolutely clear to you. So if there's something that you're not entirely sure about, please do message me back, and I'll make sure to clear that up. But I just think it makes preparing food really fun, and this works on mobile too. So when I'm in the kitchen, I just log into my Trello card, and then everything I've added in here is also available on my phone. And so I can just go into the recipe, look at it, tell me what it says on the phone, and I keep my phone with me, and it takes me through the recipe while I'm cooking the meal that evening. So I hope that has been helpful for you. Like I say, if you've got any questions, do ask. I will be creating the automation for Trello series very soon. And I will, if you look up to the right hand side now, I'll link to the entire Trello series playlist, which will give you a really good idea of how to create your own board and Trello basics.